Good afternoon, viewers and followers of Sararights TV. You're most welcome for our news at 1. With me, Florence, let's have the top headlines. Ugandans vote in LC1 elections today. Catholic priest jailed for 21 years for killing former Uganda Revenue Authority officer. Twice yearly HIV injection offers new hope in fight against HIV. Iran executes 2 men convicted for killing 4 police officers. Let's have the stories. Ugandans across the country are today participating in the long-awaited local council 1 elections, with voters turning up in villages to elect their grassroots leaders. The government declared today, 28th July 2026, a public holiday to allow all eligible citizens to take part in the exercise. The election, organized by the Electoral Commission, marked the first nationwide LC1 polls in many years. Voting is being conducted using the traditional line-up candidates method, where registered voters lined up behind the candidate of their choice or behind the designed officials for a secret count. Only residents whose names appear on the village register are eligible to vote. Across main part of the country, polling stations opened early as election officials prepared for the exercise. Security personnel have also been deployed to maintain peace and ensure the process remains orderly. The Electoral Commission has urged voters to remain peaceful, follow election guidelines, and respect the outcome of the polls. The Commission say the elections are an important step in strengthening grassroots leadership and improving community governance. Local Council 1 chairpersons play a key role in local administration by resolving community disputes, mobilizing residents for development activities, maintaining village records, and coordinating with higher local government authorities. Authorities have been called on all citizens to exercise their democratic rights responsibly and to avoid violence, intimidation, or any action that could disrupt the electoral process. Results are expected to be announced at the respective polling station after counting is complete. In another story, the High Court in Entebbe has sentenced suspended Catholic priest Reverend Father Dominic Alianga to 21 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to the murder of former Uganda Revenue Authority officer John Bosco Ngorong. He was also sentenced to 10 years for the attempted murder of Moses Abigaba, but the court ordered the 2 sentences run concurrently, meaning he will serve 21 years in prison. According to the Officer of Director of Public Prosecutions, the incident occurred in August 2, 2024. Prosecutors told the court that Father Alianga believed Ngorongok had exposed information that led to his suspension from the priesthood. He allegedly lured Ngorongok to a meeting before attacking and stumbling him while traveling toward Entebbe. When bodaboda rider Moses Abigaba attempted to help the victim, he was also attacked. Ngorongok later died from his injuries. After the attack, Father Alianga fled to Tororo, where he later confessed to a fellow priest and surrendered to police during the High Court proceedings before Justice Flavian Nabakoza. He pleaded guilty to both murder and attempted murder charges, leading to his conviction and sentencing. The court also ordered compensation for Moses Abigab. The Office of Director of Public Prosecution welcomed the judgment, saying the conviction demonstrates that no one is above the law, regardless of their profession or religious status. Prosecutors expressed sympathy to the victim's family and said the ruling reinforced public confidence in Uganda's justice system by showing serious crimes will be punished. Far from that, concern continues to grow over the whereabouts of former Butambala County Member of Parliament Muhammad Muwanga Kivumbi, who reportedly disappeared after being stopped at a roadside security checkpoint shortly after his release on bail. According to his family and their lawyers, Kivumbi was traveling through Mpigi district on July 10, 2026, when his vehicle was stopped at a police checkpoint. They alleged that unidentified army men forced him into another vehicle, commonly referred to as a drone, and drove him to unknown destination. Since then, his family says they have been unable to establish where Kivumbi is. Kivumbi legal team filed a habeas corpus application asking the High Court to compel security agencies to produce him in court. However, police told the court they are not holding him and said there is no record of his arrest or detention after his release on bail. The High Court has directed the government and security agencies to conclude investigation into Kivumbi's whereabouts and report back to the court within 7 days. The judge said the court first need to determine who, if anyone, is detaining him before deciding on the habeas corpus application. The case has attracted widespread attention from opposition leaders, civil society groups, and international human rights organizations, which have called for prompt, transparent investigation and for Kivumbi's whereabouts to be established. In another story, a major breakthrough in the global fight against HIV is raising hope for millions of people after health authorities approve a twice-yearly HIV prevention injection that has been remarkable effectiveness in preventing new infections. The injectable medicine known as lenacapavir is administered once every 6 months, providing long-lasting protection against HIV. Clinical trials found that drug was highly effective at preventing HIV infection among people at risk, with some studies reporting close to 100% protection when used as prescribed. Unlike daily HIV prevention pill, the twice-yearly injection is expected to improve adherence, especially for people who struggle to take medications every day. Health experts say this could significantly reduce the number of new HIV infections if the treatment becomes widely available and affordable. The approval has been welcomed by the Public Health Organization, which described the injection as one of the most significant advances in HIV prevention in decades. However, experts caution that challenges remain, including ensuring equitable access, particularly in low and middle-income countries where the burden of HIV remains high. Uganda, which continues to make progress in reducing HIV infection through testing, treatment, and awareness campaigns, could benefit from the new prevention option once it is approved and introduced through national health programs. Health professionals emphasize that the injection is designed to prevent HIV infection, is not a cure for people already living with HIV. They also encourage continued HIV testing, condom use, and other prevention measures as part of a comprehensive approach to ending the HIV epidemic. The development is being hailed as a milestone in global public health, offering renewed optimism that innovative medical advance can help bring the world closer to ending HIV as a public health threat. In international news, Iranian authorities have arrested 2 men convicted of killing 4 police officers during anti-government protests that swept part of the country in January, according to the country's judiciary. State media identified 2 men as Abolfaz Sefan Badjin and Amir Hossein Safari. Authorities said they were found guilty of attacking and killing 4 police officers, setting a police station on fire, and damaging public property during unrest in the central city of Isfahan. The executions are part of Iran's continued crackdown on protesters arrested during demonstrations that began in late 2025 and continued into 2026. Tens of thousands of people were reportedly detained during the unrest, and several have been since sentenced to death earlier this month. Iran also executed 2 other men linked to the same case. Human rights organizations have strongly criticized the executions, raising concerns about due process and warning that more detainees connected to the protest could face capital punishment. The executions are expected to draw renewed international scrutiny for Iran's use of death penalty and its handling of political unrest. The January protests were among the largest waves of unrest in recent years, with demonstrators expressing grievance over political and economical issues. Iranian authorities have defended the execution, saying those convicted were responsible for deadly violence against security personnel and public property. And that brings us to the end of our news at 1. Before I conclude, let's have the recap of the top stories. Ugandans vote in LC1 elections today. Catholic priest jailed for 21 years for killing former Uganda Revenue Authority officer. Twice yearly HIV injection offers new hope in fight against HIV. Iran executes 2 men convicted for killing 4 police officers. That is all we have for you this afternoon. Thank you for being with Sararights TV. You can follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you for being with Sararights. Have a productive public holiday.